Good morning, everybody. Hello, Tupac. My name is Jesus Marin, and today I will be just interviewing you, asking you a couple of questions over your experience with climate change and what you've noticed. So you can just go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, my name's Tupac Zapata. Thanks for asking me. I am a third year journalism major here at Cal State Los Angeles, and I am 41 years old, about to be 41. Yeah,
Uh, and with that being said, how long of your life have you lived in the United States?
I have lived in the United States for 31 years.
Wow, that's a long time. And in your time here, could you talk about any specific weather changes that you've noticed in the environment?
Um, yeah, you know, living in California, though, I mean, living in Southern California, to be more specific, we don't really have the four seasons that you normally have in other parts of the country. Um, you know, so I didn't see snow for the very first time until I was like well into my 30s. So I was an adult. Um, but I did notice, California is has a very uh forgiving climate. And it's one of the reasons why it's so many people are drawn to coming over here and settling in California. I believe it's also why Hollywood chose Hollywood in LA to be the mecca of entertainment, because it's somewhere where you can actually, for the most part of the year, have good weather to shoot year round. So, but yeah, also, um, I have noticed, I have also traveled, and uh, I do believe that in global warming and climate change, but I also believe that um, humans can adapt. That humans can adapt to certain climate,
Hmm.
and it just having is being able to adapt to a new environment, and doing things differently. And I believe that a new generation will come and will lead the way into perhaps undoing the the damage that has been caused
Hmm.
by by greed mostly, and not just by greed, but I'm gonna say by growth, and overpopulation,
Hmm.
you know and our species expanding. So, but I believe that there will be alternatives and solutions that will be implemented, and that will, you know uh hopefully benefit lots of people. So
Yeah, I
I'm
agree. And another thing, like I know that you yourself have not only lived in California, but like you also spent some time in Florida. Am I right? Um,
Yes.
so would you say that you've noticed anything in regards to like climate change on that side of the coast?
There's a running joke among, like, in Florida, like, it's Miami is hot no matter what month it is.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's just a different type of heat. It's sticky, it's humid, it's muggy. And yeah, when I go to Miami, it's like, especially when say you go in the spring, and it's still cold here, and then you somehow are just transported into summer.
Yeah.
So and whenever I go to Boston, it's the opposite. I'm like transported into the real winter,
Yeah,
you know, where it gets really freaking cold.
I bet.
So, in LA, we are blessed. We are blessed with like mild weather. And I believe it's one of the reasons why we have so many people who come to LA, if when they when I'm gonna talk a little bit about uh our mild climate makes it so that you can't freeze to death in LA as long as you have a nice colcha.
Mm,
You cannot freeze to death.
yeah.
And if you have a little like something to cover you from the rain, and if you have a nice colcha, you can't freeze. But in other areas, it's not so forgiving. So
Hmm.
it's one of the reasons why LA has I think a large home unhoused population.
Yes, yes, I agree with that. And moving on to my second question, how do you imagine that you or your family like have been affected by climate change?
Um, how have we been affected by climate change?
Like, for example, have you ever wanted to travel and like maybe you couldn't because of the weather and something that you weren't really used to, or just like when you go back to visit Miami, is there like certain things that you can't really do anymore because of the weather?
Uh, you know what? I mean, not yet. I
Mhm.
haven't felt it like that. Then again, I haven't been in areas that have been affected by natural disasters.
Okay.
I'm sure if you're in an area where there's hurricanes or tornadoes, you and some people can say that it is related to climate change. I haven't really dealt with any problems like that yet. So it's not. It can still happen.
Have you
So,
ever like gone through like a storm over there in Florida, like any type of
oh
tropical
yeah, I
storm?
mean, when it rains, I mean, it rains sideways, and there's lightning, so
Yeah,
and there's thunder and lightning, and yeah, when you hear that shit, you go inside immediately.
yeah.
One instance, I will say, like, but a couple of years ago, we were barbecuing outside, and I remember all of a sudden it just began raining, and it just started raining so hard and lightning, and our meat was the inside the grill. We closed the grill, and the meat's cooking, but we are so afraid of going out because of the constant lightning that I was literally running for every couple of minutes to
Mhm.
like turn the meat over and running right back and just hoping that obviously the
Yeah,
chances of getting struck by lightning are very, very, very slim, but you do get that fear, or like, holy
yeah,
shit, like, I'm not like in LA, we don't have that. It's
yeah,
rare if when that happens, but
yeah,
over there is a more of a common occurrence. So
yeah. And then so now moving on to my fourth question is, how do you personally feel about climate change? Like, what is something that you can say for yourself?
um I want to travel more to be able to have a more
Mhm.
of, I guess, a experienced answer. I want to travel to parts of the world where they do suffer climate change, like droughts, like serious droughts and crazy floods. Areas where people are, hundreds of thousands of people are affected. Um, but until then, I can say, like, it's just the earth is just it just shifts, and it just the climate just changes. um and I do believe in climate change, but because I live in an area of the world where the climate, it's very pleasant to say. I Yeah, I can't really say. I do believe in climate change, like I said, but I need to see it more. I would like to go out there, especially once I start working as a journalist. I
Mhm.
would love to explore these areas and see for myself and have uh a better answer, and say, well, this is what climate change does to certain regions where you have El Nino in certain regions, but then you have like terrible droughts in other parts of the world. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And like with everything that we've been talking about, what the patterns that we've seen in like modern day climate change, what do you see in the future for not only yourself but the world and your family, even if you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I don't know if you've ever watched that movie, The Day After Tomorrow, where like North America freezes over, and I don't think it's gonna be like that.
Yeah.
But I think I'm just fearing that that our crops can sustain. What is this guy doing here? One second.
No problem.
I just hope that the crops are able to survive. You know
Yeah.
that the land's still able to produce. I just like that. You know I just want that. I'm talking about agriculture and water more than
Yeah,
anything, right?
agreed.
We
Yes.
constantly need water. So as long as we have, uh, as if comes to a time where like water becomes, what do they call it, scarcity, or that we are, um, or that we no longer can grow, then we have a problem. You know,
Mhm.
if it gets too cold, or in areas, if it gets too damn hot for certain plants to survive, that's but until then, bro, I think I mean, the planet, like I said, the earth seems to heal itself, and these are patterns, and unfortunately there will be disasters, but overall I think it is up to, it is a luck of the draw. It is a luck of the draw,
Yeah,
uh I do know that, the polars, the pole caps, sorry, are melting, and that the sea levels are rising, but and when that day comes, humans will find a way to adapt
yeah,
to those challenges.
I agree. And well, speaking of that, what do you think are some things we can do right now to sort of aid in the climate change, or really like what's causing that is like like global warming. So what do you think are some steps that we can take into like kind of countering this?
Well, it starts, you know, I would say riding public transit, driving a little less, just making sure that you're not littering, that you keep your side of the street clean,
Yeah, like
right?
going green, as they say, right?
Yeah, like live green. Uh, just be mindful that, you know, um, there's a reason why we have such high standards for emissions, right? If your car, why you need a smog check, why the air quality in California is better today than it was in the 70s, when there was like not that many regulations as far as emissions and car smog and stuff. And yeah, and I think at some point, like, we won't have that. Cars at some point will be electric, and then but there always be challenges. I
Yeah.
think as long as we have innovators and people who think outside the box and who are visionaries, mankind can stand a chance, and trust the science, so.
Yeah, that's very good, honestly. So that's pretty much all we have for today. I'd like to just thank you for your time and your contribution to this project. And like,
Thank
just so I could get your verbal affirmation, I will be sharing this with my class and posting this on a YouTube account. So if that's okay with you, if I have your permission to do so,
All
thank you,
good.
thank you so much, Tupac. I really appreciate you.